Well, I think one of the key factors of the NFL's growth is trying to expand into international zones. You think of the National Football League as America's sport in terms of so much interest from gambling, from fantasy football. But now what they've really tried to do is make an effort to play international games. They're playing games overseas in London. They're playing games in Mexico City. They used to have something called the Euro League, Euro NFL. So there have been seeds planted over the last decade or so to grow the game internationally. Obviously, America's #1 sport, and now they're trying to penetrate into the landscape of, they're never going to try to get to the international soccer, football's territory, even into the NBA professional basketball, but they're making inroads, and it's really grown globally over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, you alluded to this a little bit with my next question, but let's talk about China in particular. American football still falls behind football, or what we call soccer here in the United States, and basketball as the most popular sports. And it's losing a little bit of ground lately with ratings. Why do you think that is, and what will it take to lure more Chinese fans to the sport?
Well, the NFL has really put a lot of effort into grassroots support and teaching the game to the Chinese audience. Certainly, it's not something that many of them have grown up playing or even watching. There's not a touchstone athlete the same way that the NBA had Yao Ming, or how they adopted the late Kobe Bryant as one of their own. So I think the NFL right now is really trying to get in at the grassroots level. They have different distribution deals, obviously, on different networks, and they're trying to grow their presence on social media, because I think the growth will really come with the younger demographic of audience who are not really beholden to any particular sport. So if they could get in with teenagers, 20-year-olds who have disposable income, who are willing to think about maybe coming overseas and attending a game. Certainly seeing an NFL game in China is not necessarily a reality. Possibly different events that teams will hold there can become grounds for gaining popularity and growth there. So right now it's really at a grassroots level. They're trying to hold clinics. They're trying to hold educational seminars in terms of really having the Chinese people get an understanding and the basics of the NFL game to see if they could grow it the same way that the NBA has grown there.
I think one way they're trying to do that, Mike, is with Tencent, the Chinese internet services giant. They have a partnership with the NFL, the National Football League. They have commentators for the game, their own commentators. So how do you think that has helped draw more Chinese fans, particularly because they're using digital formats rather than the way we see the Super Bowl here in the United States?
Yeah, and they're going to the source of where people are consuming this content. Like you mentioned, it's on Tencent. They're trying to grow that. Just the sheer number of hours of NFL coverage that has been watched over the last 3 to 4 years has grown exponentially. So they're showing more games. They are trying to grow the league there in China. There's an indoor league that's going on. There are other intramural and non-quite professional leagues that they are trying to grow there as well. So if they're seeing it played on their home turf, the next logical step is to see what is the true professional nature of what they're watching on a local level. So really the growth is coming through that partnership with Tencent and through some of the different things that they're doing there in terms of growing the digital presence.
Favorite part about the Super Bowl for me is the commercials, for a lot of people as well. Typically a big draw for audiences. What can we expect this time around?
Like you mentioned, this is the Super Bowl of advertising for advertisers. Certainly, you're seeing brands like Bud Light trying to do social media promotions with their new ad that they have coming out for Bud Light Seltzer with Post Malone, which one will air during the Super Bowl. You have different brands like Hard Rock Hotels who have an ad featuring J-Lo, Alex Rodriguez, and other celebrities. So that's getting a lot of notoriety. And certainly from the political side, this is really the first year where this has really been a key player. Democratic hopeful Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, and President Donald Trump both showing ads during the Super Bowl. So that's kind of unprecedented from a political standpoint. And then, of course, you have every other major brand that's trying to put their flag in the field to be voted best commercial, or to at least have that water cooler conversation on Monday. Certainly, it's going to be the game #1, and then #2 is which commercial did you like, which one did you remember the most?
All right.